Imagine for a second that your brain isn't just a computer.
Uh,
Imagine it's a literal broadcasting station. I mean, physically emitting these invisible waves from your skull.
uh-huh.
And they're designed to travel infinitely, crossing borders, racial lines, all to harmonize with the entire universe.
That's the premise we're working with.
That is the premise. But here's the problem, according to our source today. Most of us. We're jamming the signal.
It's a fascinating opening concept. I mean, it merges biology, physics, and, spirituality into one single mechanism.
Yeah.
It's basically saying that connection is about frequency, not just geography.
And that is the central hook for today's deep dive. We're looking at a transcript from January 30th, 1982.
Right.
It was delivered by the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, and the speech is titled Vibrations of the True Parent and the Universal Masterpiece.
And that's a title that promises a lot.
It really does.
And the context here is so key before we even start. This speech, it was given at the Rugged Mission Center in New York, and it was a joint birthday celebration for him and his wife, who he calls Mother, throughout the text.
So you have to picture the scene. The room's packed with followers.
Absolutely.
They're probably expecting, a standard birthday address, maybe some thanks, some cake.
Lighthearted reflection on getting older, maybe.
But they didn't get a toast and some cake. They got a lecture on, evolutionary design, a metaphysical theory of vibrations.
And a military-grade demand for mental toughness.
Exactly. It's a very dense text. Our mission today is just to unpack the rhetoric, the worldview, and sort of the arguments he was building in that moment.
We're tracing how he built reality for his followers in 1982.
Yeah.
We're not here to, evaluate the theology itself.
Yeah.
We're just trying to understand the internal logic of the speech, what he was communicating to that room.
So let's start where he starts. The first piece is the body itself. Mean opens by looking out at the audience, at thousands of people. And he starts talking about the human face, but not like a poet. He talks about it like an engineer.
Like an engineer facing a design constraint. He really does. He highlights the limitations first. He says, look, the creator only had 4 components to work with. Eyes, nose, mouth, ears.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not only that, the placement was fixed. You can't just put an ear on a knee or an eye on the back of your head.
It's a rigid schematic. I love the mental image he conjures here, He says he tried imagining if eyes were round or ears were upside down.
Right.
But he concluded the standard design is, optimal. But the miracle for him isn't the design.
It's the output. It's the variance.
Yeah.
That's what he's obsessed with in the opening.
Exactly.
At the time of this speech, there were, roughly 4 billion people on Earth?
Right.
And Moon points out that despite having the exact same 4 components in the exact same places, no 2 faces are identical.
He frames that as a statistical impossibility for a human designer.
Totally. He asks the audience, if you were given these 4 items, could you create 4 billion distinct versions?
The answer is no.
The implication is that human creativity would bottom out. We'd start repeating ourselves after a few hundred.
But divine creativity is infinite.
That's his point. He calls every single person a masterpiece. It's a very affirming start, telling everyone in that room, you are statistically unique. You are a mystery.
It sets a really positive tone, but then he pivots immediately. And, he takes a hard left into this sociological argument about gender that is,
It's much more provocative. This is the thought experiment about the no man's land.
Yeah, walk us through this, because this is where you really start to see his worldview on how humanity is structured.
So he asks them to imagine a world with only women, 2 billion women, no men at all.
Okay.
He argues that in that scenario, beauty, it essentially loses its currency. He claims there'd be no flavor or joy.
And he says women wouldn't even wear makeup.
That's the very specific observation.
Yeah.
He seems to think the entire incentive for beauty is the existence of the other gender. For him, yes. Without men, the joy of presentation just evaporates. But then he raises the stakes.
He does.
To show why balance is necessary. He asks, what if there were 2 billion women and only 1 man?
I think I can guess where this is going.
Chaos. Absolute chaos. He predicts war after war. He says the women would just inevitably conspire and fight over that 1 man.
A Hobbesian view of romance.
It is. And he says the reverse is equally true. A world of men with 1 woman, same destruction.
So he's using this sort of apocalyptic scenario to prove a point about the actual population numbers we have.
Correct. He treats the gender ratio as another statistical miracle, just like the face.
Mm-hmm.
He cites American and Eastern cultures, noting that in both, there's often a really strong preference for suns. He even asked the crowd, would you want a sun first?
He's implying that if human will could control biology, the population would be skewed.
Totally. Like, if we all got what we prayed for, it might be 90% male.
And that would lead to war.
Exactly. If it were up to us, the balance would break. But since the ratio stays at roughly 50-50, Moon argues this is proof of God's active control.
To keep us safe from ourselves.
He says wise men know it's useless to pray for a specific gender because the system is locked by a higher power.
So we have the biological miracle of the face, the statistical miracle of gender, and this all sets the stage for the core concept, right? The vibration.
And that brings us right back to that broadcasting station metaphor.
Yeah.
Moon told the audience, every one of you has a broadcasting station in your brain.
I really want to dig into this because he isn't just saying, we communicate.
No, it's not that simple. He's talking about a continuous signal, emitting waves constantly.
And he defines the range of those waves.
He does. He says these vibrations are natural, limitless. They're not supposed to stop at your skin.
Right.
He says there are no white vibrations that only tune into white people. The natural frequency is designed to circle the whole globe.
He lists them out, doesn't he? Embracing the oriental, the black, the white.
And even vertically into the spirit world. The idea is that the hardware, the brain, is designed for universal connection.
A receiver and a transmitter for the whole cosmos.
Exactly.
So if the hardware is designed for universal connection, why is the world so divided? Why aren't we all humming along in harmony?
Well, Moon argues that history is basically a crime scene of blocking.
Blocking.
He says humans have chopped off this harmonious signal. We're jamming ourselves. And he points the finger at two massive institutions.
Nationalism and religion.
The two primary culprits, which is, interesting coming from the head of a religious movement.
It's a paradox for sure.
But rhetorically, he positions himself outside of traditional religion here. He attacks them for being narrow-minded.
Okay.
He says Christianity has blocked the signal by calling people heretics. Nationalism boxes people into the Japanese way or the German way.
He sees them as artificial jammers.
Yeah, they put a boxer on the brain and stop the broadcast from going global. He uses the phrase chopped off.
Like you have this infinite wave and society just comes along and hacks it off at the knee.
Precisely. And this is what allows him to position himself and his movement as the solution to all this.
The one who can get the signal through.
He uses himself as the proof of concept, the East-West synthesis. He points to the room itself.
Right. He describes himself as an Oriental man, his words, who has somehow captured the hearts of Western youth.
And remember the context. This is 1982. There's a lot of controversy around the Unification Church. Accusations of brainwashing.
Parents were hiring people to kidnap their kids back. Deprogrammers.
And he addresses that right here. He mentions the deprogrammers. He says they try to pull them away, but it doesn't work.
And his defense for that is what?
In his framework, it's not mind control. It's that he has unblocked his broadcasting station. He's claiming to transmit a vibration of true love that naturally transcends all those cultural blockades. He's a hub that's just operating correctly while everyone else is jammed.
This leads us right to the source of that signal. He calls himself the true parent. Now, what does that title mean in this context?
It is a hierarchy, but it's one based on frequency. He defines true parents as a core vibration.
Okay.
If the universe is a chaotic mix of jammed signals, the true parent is the central frequency that can harmonize them all.
But you don't just get that title.
No, and this is the critical part. You don't get it by appointment or election. You have to earn it.
And the resume is pretty grim.
It is not a fun resume. The qualification is suffering. Moon spends a huge part of this birthday speech detailing his own misery just to validate his authority.
He contrasts his youth with the university students he saw. This part of the text was so cinematic to me.
It is.
He paints this picture of students laughing, being boisterous, enjoying their silly gaiety.
He just dismisses their happiness as weightless. He says, your laughter is meaningless. It has no weight.
Meanwhile, his own youth was silent and sorrowful.
He says he bypassed the party. He went to the bottom of society, labor camps, mines, the docks.
Yeah. He mentions spending time with beggars and prostitutes. He says he wanted to understand why women end up on the street.
It's an authority through trauma argument.
Yeah.
He talks about his clothes, buying surplus rags from thrift shops, refusing to wear a new suit. He's building this case that his ability to lead isn't intellectual.
It's experiential.
It's experiential.
Mm-hmm.
He says the first qualification of the true parents is to taste the suffering of humanity. He's saying, I can lead you because I have suffered more than you.
Precisely. And there's that one image he uses that really struck me, the desert island scenario.
Yes, the tree bark. It's so vivid.
It really is.
He claims that if you dropped him on a desert island with absolutely nothing, he would survive. He'd eat grass, he'd eat tree bark,
They eat insects.
he'd fashion a fishing pole out of debris. Eating tree bark implies a level of desperation most of us can't even imagine.
It illustrates absolute self-reliance. He's telling his followers, I have been to the bottom. I've been misunderstood by everyone.
And because I survived that, because I can eat bugs and keep moving, I am the true parent.
Persecution as validation. The fact that the world fought him is proof that he's on the right path.
Exactly. And this sets up the pivot, because if the leader is the guy eating tree bark on an island to save the world,
What does he expect from the people in the room?
the people sitting there in their nice clothes, and this is where we get the tiger versus kitten analogy.
And honestly, this is the part of the speech that really sticks with you.
It is the central challenge. He asks them directly, are you a kitten or a baby tiger?
And he gets very specific about what a kitten lifestyle looks like.
The kitten is domestic. It wants the sunny spot in the living room. It wants a pillow. He explicitly mentions a king-size bed.
And the electric blanket, that's such a specific call-out of modern comfort.
It represents the desire for ease, to be warm and safe.
And the tiger?
The tiger sleeps on a snow-covered mountain, or in a tree, or on a jagged rock. The wind cuts through its fur.
It's cold, lonely, uncomfortable.
But, and this is Moon's point, it has dignity. It has authority. It is the king of the mountain.
So he's telling them that comfort is the enemy of their mission. If you like the electric blanket, you're failing.
He is. He calls out the conditional Moonie, the member who says, I am a Moonie, but I don't want to fundraise.
Or I don't want to do home church.
Right. He says if you're seeking the sunny spot, you need to repent. He frames the desire for comfort as a spiritual failing.
But here's where the speech takes a turn I really didn't expect. After all this talk of vibrations and spiritual tigers,
Sleeping on rocks.
yeah, the skills he demands are incredibly practical. He's not asking them to just meditate.
That is the twist.
Yeah.
He doesn't just want them to pray on a mountain. He demands two concrete skills from his tigers. First, economic success.
Right.
He says bluntly, you must be able to make money with your own effort.
Nobody is going to give it to you.
He emphasizes self-sufficiency. And second, human relationships. He claims his own major field of study was human beings.
The ability to read a person instantly.
And he expects his followers to master that social intelligence. So the tiger isn't some monk hiding away. The tiger is an operator who can generate revenue and influence people.
Speaking of which, we have to talk about the business venture he announces.
The newspaper.
Because he really puts his money where his mouth is on this tiger strategy.
This is crucial historical context. The year is 1982. The newspaper industry in the U.S. is bleeding out.
Right. Major papers like the Washington Star, the Philadelphia Bulletin, they're all folding.
Going bankrupt. And here comes Moon saying, I'm going to start a brand new daily newspaper in the capital, the Washington Times.
He knows everyone thinks it's financial suicide.
Oh, he acknowledges it. But he contrasts the business-minded approach with his purpose-driven approach.
Okay.
He argues that traditional papers fail because they're only concerned with profit. When the ledger goes red, they quit.
But his motivation is different.
It's God and the nation. He believes that because his goal is salvation, not profit, he can endure losses that would kill a normal company.
He sees media not as a business, but as a weapon.
A weapon in a spiritual offensive. That's the phrase he uses. It sounds aggressive.
It sounds like he's marshaling troops.
And he frames it that way. He says for years they've been on the defensive, just surviving. Now they're attacking.
But the goal isn't revenge.
He clarifies that. He says, our goals are different. We want to save the world, including our enemies.
It's a very specific kind of warfare where the goal is conversion, not destruction.
Exactly. And he briefly touches on the controversy around him again here. He knows people call him a swindler.
A robot master?
Or that he's pushing buttons.
Yeah.
Which goes right back to the broadcasting metaphor.
It does.
And his defense is an appeal to the joy of his followers. But, significantly, he claims the intellectual class is starting to come around.
He sees a split.
Yeah. The political rulers wanted to destroy him. But he claims scholars and academics are beginning to welcome unificationism as a new solution. He's trying to build credibility.
So let's bring it all back to that room. It's 1982. He's outlined this massive cosmology. He's given his biography of suffering. He's challenged them to be tigers. How does he leave them?
He strips away the celebration. He tells them flat out, "You did not come here for the sole purpose of singing happy birthday."
Which probably puts a bit of a damper on the party, but it drives the point home.
He wants them to become the vibration. He uses the metaphor of throwing a stone into a pond.
His words are the stone.
His words and his life.
Yeah.
And he wants his followers to be that ripple, expanding that true love vibration out to the cosmos.
He asks them if they're spectators or participants.
Exactly. He targets the wait-and-see attitude. He asks the audience, are you going to wait and see if we survive, or are you going to fight for it?
He's putting the burden of the future directly on their shoulders.
He's demanding they stop being the audience and start being the broadcast.
It's a really comprehensive worldview. When you step back and look at the whole speech, you have biology, physics, business strategy, personal discipline.
All wrapped into one package. It shows why he was so compelling to his followers. He wasn't just offering a theology. He was offering a complete alternative reality where biology, money, and spirit all follow the same laws. He connected the dots for them.
And it made their struggle feel meaningful.
Right.
So here's the final thought to mull over. Moon draws this sharp line between the kitten in the sunny spot and the tiger on the mountain. He frames comfort as the enemy of destiny.
That's a powerful dichotomy. The pillow versus the rock.
It makes you wonder, in any high-stakes endeavor, whether it's a movement, a startup, even art, where's that line? At what point does the dedication you need to climb the mountain cross over into the total loss of self-comfort that he's describing?
That is the question. Is suffering a necessary credential for greatness, or is it possible to change the world from the sunny spot in the living room?
A question for the tigers and the kittens alike. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the vibrations of 1982. We'll see you on the next one.